Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons: The Second Age. How are we all doing?
Great.
Yeah, pretty good.
Excellent. So before we jump into tonight's session, I want to apologise in advance to anybody who's watching this if there are a bunch of technical issues, because I've moved to a new computer and nothing is the same, and I'm now using different applications, and I'm reduced to one monitor, so this is going to be a bit slapdash. But yeah, with that aside...
Yeah, and allow me to translate to anyone who might be watching to Dave.
Yes.
To Dave, we're sorry.
Dear Dave.
What
If nothing goes wrong, then that's a Christmas miracle. So, without further ado,
August.
let's... don't date the episode. It'll be Christmas by the time I get it uploaded.
Damn, alright.
Welcome to the Christmas special.
Self-burn.
Jingle bells.
Okay. Without further ado, who wants to explain to us exactly what happened the last time we played this game?
We talked a bunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
That could be any one of the last 3 sessions.
Shut up.
That-
Yeah. I believe we started the morning after, didn't we?
Did.
Yes.
So we woke up back, and for the 3 of us, that being Elizabeth, Grim, and Kelariis, there was suspiciously no Arya. There had been no Arya. We went to check on Lyra, who was all sad because there's been no Arya, and was presumably hungry, amongst other things. Kelariis fed the wolf. Elizabeth went upstairs. Arya was not in her room. So we sent a message to Arya. Arya had just gotten out of House Domator. And was like, oh yeah, I'm on my way, it's fine. So we met up again. We had a little chat where everyone kind of figured out what had been going on. But no one really explicitly said it. Because, you know, we don't want to, we want Arya to take her time with this.
We didn't want Arya to die, like,
Yeah,
on the spot.
die of embarrassment. We wanted to, we wanted to take her time. So we all kind of know what happened between her and Jaldrin, but no one's actually saying it. Arya got dressed, and we went, time to go! Shwoop! And we teleported back up to the Amber Eagle Keep, which construction is starting to get underway. We have some holes that are going to be foundations. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
So we walk in and we get updated on the little side mission that we sent the crack squad on. Turns out they found a splinter group of the Dread Legion, people who are disappointed in the direction that it is taking, and have been rather sloppy in their attempts to recruit new members. So our group found them, rooted them out. They were the reason that people were disappearing. We got a letter from the princess, who'd been hoping to meet us, but instead met our team. We actually got a lot of letters.
You did.
Amongst other things, we got a letter from V. We got a letter. Everyone got a personal letter. And then we realised we need to do more investigating and researching. So Elizabeth went up to the capital to research more on our big bad leader boy, potentially, and find out exactly what his deal is. Didn't really get anywhere, unfortunately, but I do now have a fancy jade circlet.
You do.
Meanwhile, Grim and Arya went to go and speak with V, who we found out was in her grove. They went and had a chat with V, and V was like, I can maybe tell the Raven Queen and tell her to talk to you guys. Basically. And was like, yeah, we also found some Dread Legion doing their thing in little elven hamlets. We did a little exchange of information. They chilled there for a little extra time. While And at the same time, Kelariis took the Zero off on a little adventure, and together they made a solid 8 gold. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
So eventually we all get back from our little missions, and Grim is informed by Sudani that there had been a incident with our elite squad, because 2 of them had had a fight with actual weapons in the middle of the training hall.
Yeah.
And Sudani was like, "This isn't on. It's setting a bad example. Can you talk to them?" What was it? It was Kada and Auden.
Yes.
So Grim went to have a chat with Kada, and Kada's whole deal was, I don't like him, so I wanted to put him in a situation where he could have killed me and see what he could have done, what he did with it.
It's not that she doesn't like him; it's that she doesn't trust him.
Okay, yeah, I don't trust him, so I put him in an opportunity where he could kill me, and that makes sense.
It's basically what she wanted to see, like what he'd be like in a fight,
Yeah.
so she could defend himself in case of, because there's some distrust.
Yeah. And then she dissed Sudani, and no one approved of that.
Everyone disliked that.
Everyone dislikes that.
Exactly. Exactly. Everyone disapproves. So
It's
then
like in The Sims when you have like the little
Yep.
yeah, the
thing
little
that goes
negative,
over your head.
double negative, yeah. So then he went to go talk with Auden, who was very apologetic and was like, "Shit, I shouldn't have accepted that. I don't know why I did." Grim basically just said to both of them,
the rules.
Yeah, Grim basically said to both of them, look, if you fight if you must, but if you're gonna fight, don't do it in full view of everyone. Keep it on the down low."
Well, there's one important part that you missed out on, because before I talked to either of those, I talked to Lars, their
Oh yeah, you
team,
Yes.
like the expedition leader.
Yeah.
He
of
went to their
Poland.
manager.
Yeah,
And
and
I
Lars
was
was
like-
like, "Let him fight."
He was like, "Let him fight," and so I was kind of like, you know what, I'll allow
Yeah.
it, and then if it
Yeah.
goes wrong, then
But
you
he-
know, then Lars
he very
maybe has
much-
learned a lesson, and
Yeah, but he very much told them to keep it out of sight.
Indeed.
And that was where we left off.
Okay.
Grim had just finished talking to Auden.
Yes. So, with that in mind, I think after the 3 days are up, everyone sort of regroups and relays everything that was learned, which is comparatively little, unfortunately. So, it is probably late evening of the 3rd day. What would you all like to do?
that's right. Because we're like, V would message us if she decided anything, or well, if she decided to help us.
Yeah, she said she would try and help you, but she needed to think about how to
Yeah, but like
how to approach the Raven Queen. Yes.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, she hadn't like given a definite yes, but like she'd tell us when, if she did. Well, I guess. Does anybody else have an idea of what we want to be doing right now? Oh wait, wasn't there a thing happening? Where was it? Oh, there was a place that we wanted to check out, wasn't there?
Was there?
Was there?
I'm trying to think of the name.
Was it somewhere we'd been before or somewhere else?
Wasn't it like the little seaside on the eastern
Green
coast?
Abbey.
Oh, Green Abbey. Yes.
Green Abbey. I thought something was happening there.
Something had happened there.
Yes. Something happened there in an indeterminate amount of time in the past.
Yeah. The big bad had given our smaller bad from down south the scary.
Yeah, I
news that we
thought
felt.
there was something else more recent somewhere in that area. 'Cause I remember us deciding if we should send the others or send us.
Oh.
No, yeah, I don't think anything more recent had happened.
Because I think the most recent thing that happened in that area was the thing that our other group dealt with.
Yeah.
Yes. But those
think
people,
so.
those
Yeah.
people were affiliated with the other faction of the Dread Legion, so it's
Yes.
unlikely
Yes.
the two events are related.
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
is the case
you
of- I think that place just got mentioned. I think because it's the only
you identified it
place
as
we
a
have named
as a
that we
place of
haven't been
interest
to.
that could be worth investigating.
I guess the other thing, I guess now that I think about the information that we actually gained, we should probably Grim should probably write a letter to the Elven Kingdom, warning them about the whole Splinters awakening.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that just random kidnappings aren't as random as kidnappings. They're probably destined
Oh,
to be
yeah.
sacrifice,
Yes.
and expect more than usual.
Yeah.
I guess that's more of a warning, more
Yeah.
than anything else.
Grim writes a political warning without trying to make it sound like a threat.
Failed.
Let's make Vondal help him.
Well, the good thing is I have no, nothing to compliment, nothing else to tell them about.
Yeah, but still, better safe than sorry.
That's fine. I'll let Vondal proofread.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay. So, yeah, that's easy enough for you to do in the space remaining you have in the evening. Does anyone else have anything they want to do come evening time? Or are you just going to retire?
Yeah, I don't have anything specific. I think I already sent off my letters before we left. So.
Yes, because you wrote them before you departed. Okay. So, in that case, Grim, you finish writing your letter, and shortly before you're about to retire for the evening, you receive a message in the back of your mind that just says, it's identifiably from V, that just says, I've sent the message. Hopefully she's willing to listen. Good luck.
Thanks. And, well, good luck with your endeavors too.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay, then you all go to bed and have a long rest. Everyone sort out your spells and whatever that you need.
Here's where we get a message all you need to do to meet the Raven Queen is die. It's oh.
Just die.
Technically not wrong.
Yeah. I know.
Not wrong, but also not great.
Not wrong, but we don't want to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that takes us to the early hours of the morning, when Arya, your meditation having briefly finished, you are doing whatever it is that you do in the early hours of the morning.
Yeah, I have no idea what I actually do.
That's why I'm saying. Whatever Arya does to amuse herself in the early hours of this morning.
I'm maybe read. What do you do when you have 4 extra hours of sleep and your companions are all asleep?
Have a bit of
Lion.
wander, do some archery practice.
I was
Yeah.
going to say just
Mirror.
lie in bed thinking about a certain someone. But,
Wow.
Yeah, she's pining now. She's pining like the heroine in Jane Austen's
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Trying to figure out how he was doing the things that he was doing.
Wow.
But yeah, so you are doing, like you say, probably reading. When you hear a voice in the back of your mind,
Dun, dun, dun.
one that you have heard before, but not for a long time. A soft, almost ethereal-sounding woman's voice, which you have vague memories of it being the woman that spent an extended period of time with V when you stopped in the Shadowfell. And her message basically says, if you wish to talk, we will need neutral ground. You can find the House of Black Lanterns in Ivywood Market. I will be there.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So yeah, you remember the House of Black Lanterns. That was where you stayed in the Shadowfell. The one that
Well,
mysteriously
finding-
appeared when you needed it and then mysteriously disappeared when
Oh,
you
I
didn't
see.
need it anymore.
I was like, but how is it?
Yeah, when we're all dying of despair, and then suddenly we found a nice place, we weren't dying of despair anymore.
Yes. Yeah, you are quizzical how a location can be in more than one place, but that is the message. You have 25 words if you wish to respond.
I guess I'll respond with, "Thank you. We will meet you there."
Okay.
Because I'm assuming we will, considering it's the whole reason we wanted to talk to her.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. And that is the one interruption to your morning. But yeah, dawn rolls around. The rest of your companions awaken, and presumably you brief them.
Yes, I will tell them all about my dream.
Well, message.
Yeah, it wasn't a dream. You were wide awake.
You can tell them about your dream if you'd like to. I'm just not sure it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Also,
It's
if you're
not that
embarrassed enough
kind
to
of a
tell us-
dream.
and if you're embarrassed enough to tell us that that's happening in the first place, then talking about the dream's gonna be even worse.
Yeah.
And they were all hugging without shirts on.
Yeah, all right.
Drows and elves, as far as the eye could see.
Oh wow. That's perhaps a little bit far.
Anyway. Does anyone have any input?
Yeah, I guess it's just like, well, why wouldn't we go
Yeah, I
Like,
assume we'll.
as soon as possible?
Well, I guess that is where we're gonna go next.
Pretty local, and I'm assuming we'll just be able to leave to Ivywood Market again.
Should be.
Like, we'll be gone like what, the day?
Well, I don't know how time works, but most likely.
I don't know how time works.
Well, do you know how
Depends
to?
on that one.
Well, I think he means in the Shadowfell specifically.
I
'cause,
know.
like,
Well,
how the
I was
Feywild
good at
wibbly
shit.
wobble it.
Because yeah, like that place just like oh yeah, just appears, and dimensions have or planes have had weird effects on time.
He's not wrong.
So far, mostly beneficial.
Your worry has a basis in reality.
Good. Well, shall we have a look? I guess considering what I know of us, I expect there will be complications. So I'm just going to inform Vandal
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea.
that, like, if they get any hints or clues, that like just send out the squad, and if they think they know anything, they can feel free to do so themselves.
Okay, so you're briefing him that if there's any more Dread Legion activity, to send a squad to investigate.
Yeah, or anything noteworthy,
Yeah. Okay.
and then specifically, well, the elite
Maybe-
squad.
Yeah, and maybe let us know if he does.
Okay.
That'd be smart, right?
Well, yeah. I assume if it's important enough, he'll know to tell. I feel like that's implied.
Yeah, Vondel is a pretty good judge of risk, believe it or not.
Yeah. Shall we head off to visit this stranger?
Alright. No one's got
Okay.
anything else they need to do.
Well, wouldn't want to keep them waiting.
Okay. So you guys set off to Ivywood Market.
Don't keep your immortal, all-powerful beings waiting.
Not about all powerful.
Really powerful. Really powerful.
So yeah, you head into Ivywood Market, and sort of realize you don't really know where to go from there.
Well, I think the best way would be ask if there's any buildings that have appeared out of nowhere.
I don't think that's how that works.
So would you like to go ahead and make me an investigation check?
Sure.
You can probably have help from your allies because your allies are helping you as well.
Dare you help me?
Dare you help?
I mean,
Well,
if
they don't have to help in the same way.
Well, I mean, yeah. If he's going for the approach of like just walking up and asking people, I'm not helping with that mad lad strat.
Wow.
Either way, the help didn't benefit him in any way
Okay.
whatsoever.
So yeah, you sort of begin like looking through town to see if anything is out of the ordinary. Grim, you sort of ask a couple of people if they've seen any sort of new buildings spring up, and they sort of like people are like sort of shaking their head and say, no, there hasn't been any construction for a while, blah blah blah, and going on, until you stop, one man who he looks like he has been like. I suppose the best, most apt description is he is currently recovering from a long night of partying.
AKA hungover.
Yeah, he looks very hungover. But he is, like he seems coherent enough, but he just looks like rather irritable when you approach him. You sort of ask him if he's seen any new buildings. He sort of like looks at you strange and then says, "Well, now that you mention it, I had a rather exciting night last night, and well, we ended up in this tavern, but I've never been to that tavern before, and well, it was definitely different to any place I've ever seen around here before." And he sort of like gestures like over his shoulder, like it was sort of back that way and down a few streets, I think.
Great.
Perfect.
You know, a rough direction is better than no direction.
And both of which are better than One Direction.
Wow.
Wow.
So, yeah, as you head in the direction that the individual points you.
Because yeah, I thought the whole point of this place was it shows up when we need it. So if we just wandered around, it would have just shown up, right?
Well, so as you wander down this side street, you do hear the sound of a bell that cuts through the morning air, and it's a strange bell because it's a bell that you've heard before. In the middle of, well, actually, Grim has not heard it before, and neither has Elizabeth. But the other two of you have heard it before, ringing out across the plain in the middle of the Shadowfell, where it almost seems to it seems to ring less in the actual air itself, so much as you just become aware of it. And following towards the source of that sound, the four of you, you do in fact stumble across the rather juxtaposed-looking house of black lanterns, smack bang in the middle of Ivywood Market.
Albanos. So
I was,
Albanos.
Well, I can't really say what I was expecting, but not this.
No.
I was expecting it to be more like a little bit more out of the way, and also like less obvious.
This is how it be.
Now that you mention it, Elizabeth, looking around you, there are people like walking around in the street near you, and they don't seem to be paying any attention to this strange, out-of-place building at all. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check. Okay. So, based on what your companions have said to you, and the way that people are behaving around this, you suspect this place has some sort of protective illusion over it. That it's really only visible unless you need it, or are deliberately looking for it.
Well then.
Which explains how a probably rather drunk man looking for the closest bar was able to find it.
Oh.
Hmm.
Elizabeth probably has that revelation and actually just laughs out loud for a bit. And it's like,
Yes.
okay, yeah, this place is cool. I like it already.
Well, shall we enter, or is there something we should know before we enter? Looking at the two veterans.
I don't think there was anything. I can't remember anything because it's been a hot second.
It has been a while, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as a quick refresher, the last time you were here, you met Yarol, the proprietor. Fuck, I hate that word. Who was a tiefling man who was very, very polite, very business. Took great pleasure in making sure that you were all happy and content and providing everything it is that you could possibly want. And other than that, yeah, it was strange when you first met it because there was basically a bunch of like lost souls using this place as basically like a Shadowfell bus. But that was basically it.
The only other person I remember is Woad Boy, but I wouldn't remember him in character.
You don't, no.
Woad boy.
Yeah, do you not remember?
Road boy. Jeez.
I was gonna say, do you not remember Woad
Well,
Boy?
Yeah, because
You
I was
remember
going to say
Woad Boy,
that
are you?
it's funny that you should say that because literally the moment you walk through the door, you see that there is a large Goliath bodyguard who is covered in woad marks. Standing there, sort of like cleaning his weapon, like looks up from the weapon, sees Arya, points, like puts a hand up in the air and says, "Hey, woad girl, you're back."
Damn
it! That laugh was in character. Woad girl.
Girl.
Oh, I'd use that if it wouldn't get me killed.
No, I would never use. Arya would not like that from anybody, pretty much.
He puts the throwing axe down on the nearby table, sort of like claps his hands to like get the wax off them. So it says, "Oh, well, usually Yarol is expecting guests, so is this business or pleasure?"
Business?
Yeah, so this is business.
I'll see if I can find him. and he
Oh.
disappears.
Maybe we should have specified it was him.
Yeah.
But he might be able to help us out.
Yeah, he'll probably
Yeah.
know where we can.
Yeah, he seemed to know what was up last time. He seemed to be very in charge of what was going on.
But did he know what's down?
Downed clown. Yeah, after a few moments, you sort of like mill around a little bit in the sort of lobby area. You can see down into like the main like tavern floor. And again, for those of you who haven't been here before, and as a refresher for those of you who are, who were here but can't remember, a lot of the patrons of this bar are very grey-looking elves, or like elf-like individuals. But they don't look. They look very different to any of the elves that any of you have ever seen before. And sort of like a couple of them like look over to regard you, and you realise that they all have completely like pitch black eyes. But they don't seem bothered by your entry, and just sort of like go back to their talking and drinking. And eventually the tiefling in a long robe sort of comes out, and he sort of says, "Ah, friends and guests." And he sort of like produces a notebook from one pocket and sort of says, "Yes, she's expecting you."
Oh, very well then, I guess. Where do we go?
I'll take you to the suite. Is there anything I can get you first? Drink, something to eat?
We just had breakfast. We're good, I think.
But you didn't have our breakfast.
Maybe after, I guess.
Yeah, he sort of smiles and says, well, yes, just let me know if you need anything, and Ged will prepare you something.
Excellent.
And then he sort of like smartly leads you off through a number of the winding hallways till you get to basically the same sort of place where you guys were sleeping the last time you were here, those of you who slept here. And he sort of arrives at a lavish leather-fronted door, like padded leather-fronted door. And he raps very slightly on the wood before pushing open the door. Gives a swooping bow, and sort of says, "My lady, your guests have arrived." And as you step inside, reclining in a very fine, like red fabriced armchair, and drinking something from a silver goblet, is the woman that a few of you have seen before and would identify as the Raven Queen. And yeah, she like looks up, smiles, beckons you to enter. You step inside. Yarol closes the door behind you, and she says, "So, after everything that has happened between us, Sky's daughter requests that her mortal companions be granted an audience. What, pray tell, requires such a demanding summons?"
Well, this concerns something that might be of interest to someone like yourself as well. And you might potentially have the knowledge to aid in resolving the situation.
She presents an open farm and sort of bids you to continue.
I guess a good starting point would be, do you have any? Are you familiar with the Dread Legion?
She sort of nods with like a I guess like a mildly discontented look, and just sort of says, "Yes, I am aware of them.
Are
You were hunting them the last time we met."
Yes. However, things have escalated somewhat. Are you? I guess. Do you know Ezreal the Twisted?
She sort of like
Uh,
raises an eyebrow and sort of says, "It's a name I've not heard for quite some time."
Well, turns out the he was as you may or may not know, he was imprisoned in the Black Cigarette, right?
Black
Or
cigarette, yes.
yes, the Black Cigarette. Back in the first age. However, he has escaped and taken over leadership in the Dread Legion. This may not seem like it would be too relevant to you. However, they've been he's been using his powers to basically gain more power and avoid death permanently, and giving some of his followers the ability to avoid death, something that you might be somewhat opposed to.
Yeah, she gives like an unpleasant frown and just sort of says, "Yes, as necromancers are wont to do."
Yes. Which, and I'm sure this will, pretty certain this will keep on escalating. He wasn't put away for nothing. One of the reasons that we thought you might have some knowledge as well is, we were told you might have some, and you may be aware of some of the more ancient magics that he is capable of. Kind of magic that would almost successfully assault Triferian and bring him to an end. It was a rather close call.
Her top lip curls with visible displeasure. I cannot get a sentence out today. Her top lip curls with displeasure, and she says, "I am aware of such ancient magics, but I was not aware that such powerful secrets are bandied about so casually. Where did you hear of this?"
It's not so much hear as see. We haven't spoken about this too freely for, reasons that you might, imagine. But yes, we were there when it happened. I can't remember where we got the lead that it might be. Oh yes, it was the
We
what were they called?
we encountered an angel under, Kelariis encountered an angel under Tritherian's command who spirited her away to help defend him, and eventually we went looking for Kelariis, and of course found her in the Feywilds.
You actually learned about it slightly earlier than that.
Yes, I'm trying to think. I can't. The Cabal. That's it. They
I
told
was
us.
gonna say, the Cabal, you found out when you went to confront them in the
Yes.
church? Question mark. I think it was a
Yes.
church.
Yeah, I
Temple?
was.
Cathedral?
I was trying to think of the name when
Oh no, yeah.
Half took over, but it took a while. But yes, the Cabal told us. However, the Cabal, that didn't go so well. They are no more.
Well, they're leaders, at the very least.
The look of displeasure continues on her face, and she examines her nails. She sort of says, "I suppose that makes sense. Valoel, that wretch. I can assume from what you've just mentioned, then, that it was you who finally sent her to meet me after so many years of her callous disregard."
Yes. Things didn't go quite as planned, but that is what happened.
And her vampire accomplices
Yeah. Although actually, she sent one of those back herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Raven Queen offers a sort of like a small smirk and just says, "Does not surprise me." So before we continue, I have 2 questions that I need you to answer me honestly. What are you hoping to gain from this information, and why do you need it?
Well, I guess we're hoping that it will do several things for us. First off, if he's going to be using ancient magic, because we are going to try to stop him, we thought it might be useful to know if there's anything we can do to stop it, if there's anything that we can do to protect ourselves, anything along those lines. Besides that, we were also hoping that you might somehow be aware of any clues as to the whereabouts of Azrael, or well, just general information that might help us. And as to what we're hoping to get out of this, or like how this will help us. Well, the truth is we are running kind of thin on leads. He is a hard man to track, and we have a hunch that things are only going to escalate. And I guess with the information, we're hoping that we'll somehow be able to get an edge in our fight against Azrael the Twisted.
And we don't really want the Dread Legion sort of either bringing about an end to the world or just enslaving it, whatever the hell Azrael wants to do with it all.
She considers this for a moment. Takes a long, sip of her drink. Just says, "Allow me to be candid with you. I know a great deal about ancient magics and their secrets, but I will not lay these secrets bare so easily. I have worked too long to take the place that I have, and I cannot idly pass along the very secrets that could be used to undo me. At least, not without proof that you understand the magnitude of what it is that you are asking, and that you understand what it is that I am planning to achieve. Something that your friend Gaia's daughter has taken her time to come to terms with. She raises 2 fingers into the air and snaps them. And from the shadows, I guess it was like one of the grey-skinned elves with dark eyes materializes out of nothing. And sort of as he steps forwards, the rest of you sort of start a little. He turns to the Raven Queen and offers a short bow. She sort of beckons him to come closer as she says the next thing she says. She says, "There is a trial. One that I have used before to test those who pledge their devotion to me. I will not demand that you swear allegiance to me or my cause, because I know some of you would refuse that on this basis alone. But if you wish to know my secrets, I think the best way to test your mettle is for you to face it. All I ask is that you keep an open mind as you pass through it. Understand what it means to be one of my chosen, my sorrow-sworn. And as she says this, she gestures to the grey-skinned elf who's standing next to her. And he sort of like stands to attention, and you can see that he's got like almost like a priest robe over the top of a set of chainmail armor. A garb that you are not unused to seeing from some clerics. And she continues with, "What those who ally with me are fighting for." Oh, sorry, yeah, so it's like, understand what it means to be one of my chosen, my sorrow-sworn. What those who ally with me are fighting for. Face it as a team, or alone, individually, whichever you choose. What do you say?
Seems like we don't have much of a choice.
What exactly does this trial involve?
I will take you to my domain, or you can make your own way there, and you will face a series of challenges designed to help reinforce the ideals that I have cultivated. I will warn you. There is a very real risk that you will not return. But embracing that is part of understanding what it is to serve me.
I'd say I'd be willing to give it a, well, the go might not be the right way to describe it, but what do you guys think? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, probably as ready as we're gonna be.
Yeah, and it's necessary.
She sort of
Well-
nods and says, "If you need time to prepare, then you may have it. I will be returning to my domain when I have finished here. I could ask Yarol to ferry you across in a few days if that is what's needed, but if you are ready to go now, then I will escort you."
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Can you send a message from here to, or does this not count as the correct plane?
I can still send a message. There's only a small chance it wouldn't get through if this is a different plane.
The Raven Queen shakes her head and says, "We are very much still on the material."
Okay, because I think, well, we had a hunch that we might be gone for longer than a trip to town, but they might want to know that we're going to be gone for slightly longer potentially. I think if we sent that message, then we should be good to go.
I'll send Vondal a message then. And then, yeah,
Yep.
I will cast sending.
Okay.
And I guess I'll say to Vondal, I guess the message would just say, like, she wants us to undertake some trial for the information. We may be gone a while longer than expected.
He responds with, "I thought it wouldn't be that simple. Stay safe."
I guess.
Yeah, and then she'll just nod and be like, okay, he knows.
Well, before we start this, these are the same beliefs, or this trial's based on the same belief that you've been trying to teach, or you've referred to her as the child of Gaia?
She nods.
Okay. Should be interesting. I have no clue how you'd put that into trials.
It will become clear in the moment. She leans over to the individual that she referred to as a Sorrowsworn earlier. She whispers in his ear, and he steps forward, produces basically a small book, and offers it to you, Grim.
I will.
He gives you a short, bob of the head and says, "These are the tenets of our queen. If you understand them, then you will understand the trials."
How big is this thing?
Not super thick.
Okay, good.
But are the pages those like Bible pages where they're like a micrometer thick?
No, because paper micrometers thin hasn't been invented yet.
Good.
No, it's maybe probably 40 pages at most.
Oh,
that's not that bad.
But sort of as you leaf it open, literally on the front page, there are 3 tenets written. Let me just bring them up.
Tenets of the Raven Queen.
Okay.
yeah. I half expect at least someone to die.
Yeah.
At some point.
So, the 3 tenets written on the front page are, first and foremost, hold no pity for those who suffer and die, for death is the natural end of life. Second tenet is, bring down the proud who tried to cast off the chains of fate. As the instrument of the Raven Queen, you must punish hubris where you find it. And the third tenet is, watch for the cults of the undead and stamp them out wherever they arise. Above all...
Honestly, not that bad.
Above all, the undead seek to claim the rightful throne.
I mean, I don't think any of us expected them to be bad tenants.
No.
No, we just expected them to be sort of morally grey in places.
Well, this is the first page, right?
Yeah, this is the first page of 40. There are 39 to go.
There's still a lot of potential, guys. This is only the first 3 tenets.
Admittedly, these are basically self-fulfilling. The hold no pity over the dead. Sometimes we do want someone back.
I was gonna say that's the one I've got the most problem with so far. It's okay to be sad because someone's dead. What's wrong with that? It's the same way you'd be sad if someone left.
I think pity is different than being sad, though, in this case.
I guess.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
It holds a different sort of weight in the way that that's worded.
Yeah.
Anyways,
are the
how
other
are those
tenets?
39 other pages?
Yeah, one of those 39 other pages.
Okay.
Let's not sit here and debate.
Well,
those 3
or at least
for an
so-
hour.
So,
we need to know.
the Raven Queen is already getting up and getting ready to move before you have a chance to read the 39 other pages.
Oh.
Fair enough.
But yeah, she sort of stands up from the chair, finishes what's in the bottom of the silver chalice, puts the silver chalice down, and then raises her voice to just below a sort of shout and says, "Yarol, I know how much you love to eavesdrop. I will be leaving now."
Wow.
I love her attitude. Can I just say that?
Yeah, the Raven Queen's cool. I'm not gonna lie. The Raven Queen's pretty cool.
A few moments pass, and then there is another knock at the door. The door leans open, and Yarol steps in and says, "Thought I'd check in." She looks at him very nonplussed, and she says, "I will be leaving now, and I will be taking our guests with me." And he sort of nods and says, "Very well. I believe we're almost done with our business here, so suppose when you need to return, then I'll be there."
Excellent.
sort of bows his head, like sort of goes to leave, and then like pushes the door back open and says, "One for the road, perhaps."
You just want us to have a drink, don't you?
I am trying to run a business.
Yeah, well, I guess we owe you that much. You know what? Give me the most exciting thing you can think of for, let's say 2 gold. Gonna be the fanciest drink I've ever had.
He like rubs the side of his temple and says, yes, I think I can do something. And yeah, he disappears back out. The Raven Queen regards you with some scrutiny and sort of says, "You have courage. I will give you that."
Courage is wonderful.
Well,
I mean, I guess none of us would argue with that point.
yeah, as you'd say, you gotta live life while you've got it.
There's the faintest glint in her eye as she says, "I think you're beginning to understand."
Yes. Well, let's just hope this drink allows me to continue to live.
But yeah, she raises another hand again, snaps her fingers again, and 2 more of the Saurus One materialize out of thin air, and begin to pick up a handful of things and like sort of pack them up into bags. Yarol returns after a short period, carrying a bright blue liquid in a glass and silver carafe. Offers it to you, Grim, and then holds out a hand.
I'll hand over. I guess just because it like makes it a nice number, I'm gonna hand them 2 gold and 2 silver.
Okay.
Because
Yep.
neat numbers.
He
A nice little tip.
he takes the money, hands you the carafe, and says, "Enjoy."
Thank you. Gonna give it a go.
Okay.
Not even gonna ask what's in it.
Like I said, you gotta live life sometimes.
Okay. So,
Life.
are you like there isn't a whole lot of liquid in this carafe? Like,
Oh, okay.
Are
Shot glass.
you? Well, it's like a fluted glass, but yeah. So my question is, are you sipping it or are you downing it?
Don't fucking.
You got a problem with me downing an unknown liquid?
A
Yes.
little bit. Especially because we're about to go off on a very dangerous mission.
Yeah, I'll give it a smell. Does it like how alcoholic does it smell?
Make me.
Oh no!
Give it like a twirl and a sniff, like you would with a wine, and then.
I guess the most appropriate stat for this. You know what? Make me a survival check.
How
Can
bad
you
will this fuck
survive
me up?
drinking this?
Yeah,
Can't
you know what?
believe Grim's
Could be worse. Could be
Grim's
worse.
gonna get
Could've been a
tanked
lot
on the one
worse.
drink.
Okay, so you sniff it. It's definitely a spirit.
It's a ghost.
Haha.
No.
Jesus.
It is a spirit, which implies it is to be drunk quickly, not sipped.
Yeah. Well, I guess wouldn't want to do the drink a disservice.
Oh god.
I guess we'll just drink it like I think I'm supposed to drink it.
Okay,
Quickly.
yep.
He's down in it, boys.
Okay.
He's down in it.
Make me a Constitution saving throw. Okay.
Oh,
Fucking Algrim.
Not bad.
Okay,
I'm so
so
ready for the natural one. That's all I'm saying.
you down the drink, and you watch immediately as colours begin to bloom in the corners of your vision.
Oh no.
They
I'm
form
going.
they form blooms that burst into rainbow streams and then fade away into a white light that seems to settle across everything in front of you. You can see into the ethereal plane for the next hour,
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
up to 30 feet.
well, you know what? That's a better result than I expected.
Yeah. That's
I
kind of cool.
I will. I think my Grim definitely looks a little different.
Yeah.
Grim's
Rubbing
like,
his eyes.
Yeah.
whoa.
The moment Grim speaks, the rest of you, his voice is like a good, like, maybe like, well, I don't know how much in terms of tone. His voice is a little bit deeper.
Oh.
Good.
Hmm.
Oh, good.
I can't believe I'm
Yeah,
already.
come on, Grim, you've actually got to make your voice deeper now.
Oh. Oh.
No, you don't have to if it'll mess with your voice. Don't worry about it.
Like, I'll give it a go, but like, it's gonna
Yeah.
be terrible.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
So yeah, there we go. Yeah. Cool. Are we good to go, Grim?
Yeah. I can't.
You can't. It's fine.
My-
Don't worry about it.
My throat
Don't
just
worry
can't handle it.
Don't worry about voices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
The Raven Queen stands up and says, "Oh, stand close to me, everyone."
Okay. Up. Up.
Yeah.
Oh, Luka's having a moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah. So
Luka?
you all stand close to the Raven Queen.
Oh no.
She'll be back in a second.
Yep.
I'll be back.
She isn't going to miss much. Basically, the four of you stand close to the Raven Queen, and you watch as basically from the base of her robes, her shadow almost seems to elongate and grow, even though the light in the room does not change.
Ooh.
It elongates until it is basically like extended out and is underneath all of you, and then the universe falls away.
Ah! Oh no, I don't like that.
The sensation lasts for the briefest few seconds before those of you who have been here before feel a... Oh, actually, you've all been here before now.
Yeah.
You've all been to the Shadowfell. You feel a familiar, oppressive darkness begin to surround you.
Respawning is limited.
Yes. You are standing in a rocky valley.
Ooh.
Basically, at the foot of a long bridge that stretches off towards a walled spire in the distance. Along the bridge at numerous intervals are small, almost like watchtowers that jut out over the canyon underneath you. And right at the beginning, just before you, probably no more than 100 meters away, 100 feet away, is the entrance to the bridge, which is two large towers and an arching bridge an arching overhead between the two of them. And the Raven Queen and her entourage sort of turn to the four of you, and she says, "Well, to begin your trial, all you need do is to cross the bridge. Once you reach the other side and your trial is concluded, you will meet my most devoted Sorrowsworn. He serves me as the master of fates and the listener of the dead. Tell him that you seek my favor, and he will know what to do."
Understood.
She regards the four of you for a moment, and then says, I hope you understand by the end.
So do I.
And with that, she turns and walks away. Yeah, essentially leaving the four of you standing in front of a bridge.
I'm imagining that teleport feeling as being like, you know when you wake up from a dream where you were falling?
Yeah, it's between that and thinking there's one more step when there isn't.
Oh god. Those are two of like the worst feelings in the world.
Okay.
Well, shall we?
I guess.
Okay. And I think we'll take a brief pause there to allow Luka to reconnect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good plan.